Hello everybody, and my name is TickleMeTner, and in this video I'll be teaching you how to make a basic parkour maps with its guides and tips and tricks. So assuming that you already know how to provide maps or joined maps of parkour, or if you don't know, well then I can provide it in detail as much as I can. I do hope I can explain it well, articulate it enough, and provide it enough for you to understand as much as possible. Alright, let's go. So when you are in the menu of Halo Master Chief Collection, you will notice a few buttons on the sides. Click Creative. After that, click Forge. After clicking Forge, pick Halo Reach. There, you will see a variety of maps that you can choose that is available when you host or playable in multiplayer. Now, you will have to scroll to the right side all the way to the end, called Forge World. You can use a variety of maps, but it's best if you use Forge World. So in Forge World, it is a blank canvas which we can edit. And this is where you'll go. Click that, and then click this. Because, make sure you pick Forge right here. Forge. And since I picked that, or already, the game already picked that, you go to Start and begin your world. Alright? Once you are in the world, it will load and wait for it to load. And we are in a Forge world. Welcome. Now, you will be introduced to three things. The red team, the blue team, and neutral. You notice that I'm a red team, and you will be spawned with these three. So I'm going to assume that you already know how to manage or how to do forging. So all I needed to show you is what are the things you needed when you make a parkour map. Now, in order to go to forge editing, you go to the monitor mode. How do you go to monitor mode? Well, if you are on keyboard like me, if you go back, you will see a button where you can play and edit. You just click it again and again to transform into something and then revert back to a player. So I will transform into a monitor, and here I am. If you are in monitor mode, you can see the amount of budget that you can use, which is $30,000. You can place only 650 blocks. I think you can place more if you can do a bit of techniques, but I think that's a maximum 650. You can count that in normal Forge, but only using Parkour Infinite, but I don't want to use that, so let's not use that because we're going to use Forge. So you got three objects. You might be wondering, you have to delete them because they will interfere with your map making unless you specifically place your spawn area right here. And also note, there are random engine built or forge built, dev built spawns in the map. So if I were to die, I exterminated myself, you will spawn randomly in the map, and I'm so far when that's where I was in that building. Now we are right here. So how do we do it? How do you begin forging? I will give you the tips to forging. So first I'll just go back there. So there are 4 steps, but I will only do 3 because the first step was already done, which is to open a forge world. Now we will delete this. How do you delete this? Well, the best thing to do is when you are in forge mode, face the object, click it, and then press number 1 if you're on keyboard. There's some music there. If you're on keyboard, you will see the properties of this object. But if you want to delete it, go to number 2. Click again and click number 2. And then in special tools, you can either edit the coordinates. So if you move your coordinates, they will rotate. I think I need to carry it up right there. So you have to carry it up for it to move it. It will move like that. it will move to whatever coordinates that you want, but it takes time to do it. So the best way to do this is back again, do a rotation snap. But if you want to reset it again, just click reset and we'll turn back to where it originally spawned, and that's it. Let's go back to number 2, and you can change the coordinates to whatever it snaps. So if you are on, let's say, 90 degrees, so now here comes the question. How do you turn it? Wait, I don't know how to turn it. I just move myself and it's not turning. Even right clicking, no, it doesn't work. Letter E doesn't work. I mean, it just changed to local to global, and Q doesn't work. W just moves and back, and D, S, back, and you know, the usual movements. So how do I move this? Well, if you go back to the setting once again, you will notice the Alt mouse. So you hold Alt and move your mouse. You can move the object to whatever you want. So remember, the snap version is in 90 degrees, or I think it was 90. Yeah. So you hold Alt and you can do whatever you want to your movements. The same can be said to the other coordinates position: 45 degrees, 30 degrees, 15 degrees, 5 degrees, and or off. So when you off it, you can do whatever you want on the movement. And of course, before we move on, there is a button that if you let go of an item, it will drop. Items such as these will drop because it's normal. So if you were to go fixed, which means they will stick on a wall, but that depends. So for example, if we were to put it right there, will it fall? It doesn't. So fix is where, you know, fixed location, like that. So what if we turn it to face? Would it pass? I think it doesn't, because this is a alright, that was so weird. So I don't recommend doing that. If it's in face and you made this face, of course normally it will pass through. So we're to put it like that, let go, and it will be inside there. So when you spawn right in here, you're like, oh, it doesn't have any problems. But let's move on. Let's delete this. So we will delete this one by one. So how do you delete it? Well, go to number 2 and you can delete all of these. All of these that is in the same type. So all of them are gone. So again, you have your snap rotation right here, number 2. And number 1, remember, if you are in monitor mode and you're not looking or touching anything, just click 1 so that you can open the inventory. There are a lot of items there that you can place, objects, weapons, anything that you like, so on and so forth. Next is what are the steps, or let's go to parkour stuff. What are the steps you needed to take when you build a parkour map? Well, the first step that I recommend is build a spawn area. So what is a spawn area? Now again, when you move in Forge, you'll be like, why is this so slow? I want to move fast. If you are on keyboard, then simply hold shift and move. It will move fast as the more you rapidly approach. See? I'm holding shift and W, but there's a technique in Halo. If you move sideways, you're much faster. Like, look, I'm moving sideways. Step 1, you will build a spawn area. Now we will begin by placing a spawn. Go to spawning, and then you will see spawn. Then you will notice, what are these 250, 32, 32, whatever. These are the amount of items that you can place of this item. This is the amount, the maximum amount. So when you take it, I will let go. There's 249 right now. Grab the item, it's neutral. Make sure to place neutral on all, because players can retain their skins. And place it to wherever you want players to spawn. If you want to host your map on custom game browsers, or what we call like online lobbies, you need to place at least 16 of this, because that's the maximum output, maximum items, maximum players for people to join. So 16, we'll play 16 of this. So make sure that we will add face. That way it's much more easier and better. We will let go. And another thing that's important, can you copy paste? Yes, you can. So just click G and like that. Everything is in here. If you go back to the escape, it has here G duplicate, home, reset, fly down, fly up, everything. It's in here. So you have your spawn. Let's at least place 4 only because I'm the only one that's playing. And now we got our spawn area. Now, next is of course the respawn. This right here. We'll change it to face. Let's at least put 2 of them each side. Let's turn this to 15 degrees and move it. And there we go. We got our spawn area. And let me try to exterminate myself to see if it works. I mean, it works, but it's better to show people. And there we go. I spawned right here. If you level it too high, then you will spawn at the top and then you'll probably die. So here's my dead body that you can use to teabag. Oh, that's gory. Alright. Next is, of course, after spawning, what I recommend when you build is to put objects to cover your area so that people won't go out of bounds of your maps, or they won't use it to cheat and use the terrain to do shortcuts. I think it's best to say that if you have boundaries or something like blocks to cover your areas, if you have structures that you built, it's better that way than just using terrain only. Alright, let's move on. Now when I make a map, I usually just have this. Put a spawn area such as blocks. Put the biggest blocks that they can stand, like these. And kinda like that. We will take this up a little bit. That way it can be leveled. We will move these two much closer. And there we go. You got your spawn. People will spawn there when they join. Make sure it's 16, okay? Alright, next is placing a block to jumps. You know the basics. So here's the recommendations that I do. So, in Halo, a lot of people are not very much patient. Not just in Halo, but people in general. So, players are mostly noobs or could be pros. But there's rarely pros. And I think most people are just average or moderate in ability to be good in parkour. But it's best that if your parkour difficulty is not too easy, but not too hard. Just moderate enough that everyone can enjoy. Everyone enjoying a parkour map is better than just a few minority enjoying it, unless if it's really targeted on them for a challenge, of course, rather than make it too easy or too hard. So yeah, it's better if everyone enjoys it. Alright, now you need the basic steps. Spawn area, that's step 1. You need spawn area. A part of step 1 is the jumps. Make sure your jumps are not too long in each section. What I mean by section, for example, you got this type of jump. You got this type of jump. Copy paste, copy paste, copy paste. And then you made all of your map this one specific type of jump. Don't do that. Don't do that thing because it is a problem. Only do it on one course, maybe at the start. Then the rest should be much more like creative. So don't just do it like this because a lot of people will just get bored or it will be very repetitive. Example, you just do it like this. Jump, 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 and like that. Now, other people don't like it like this. If it's too long, or it contains all your maps with this caliber. So I don't recommend it. So let's use this as the first section. Then we'll make the second section, which is kind of like a checkpoint. There are no checkpoints in Forge, that's why we have to make do. There is using PI, but I'm a Slayer supremacist, so I'm not going to use that. So kind of like this. So it's a jump, and then they reach this part. And then we're going to do. Next, of course, the most important thing is teleporters. Next of the part of the step 1 is using teleporters. It's in gadgets, and you will find it at the bottom, teleporters. Make sure you use sender. If you use the 2 node, it could have issues. So using sender, then you can click one. You can see its properties. There is alpha, bravo, charlie, whatever channel that you can use. Remember, the receiver channel must have the same channel name or else the teleporter won't be activated. And of course, let's remember to activate if your game mode or your parkour mode requires a vehicle or heavy vehicles or anything. So since it's players, it's already true for players. So let's go at the very bottom. You can use a cylinder or box. We'll use a box because it's better, and then we will use a coordinate to extend it. So why are teleporters important? Because we can use it for players to teleport if they fell. That means you can go all the way back and jump once again. So let's try 24. Alright, then let's widen it to 10. Alright. Now let's widen it to 10 and you got it covered. Make sure that your area of spawn is not entirely like this, because if players will get teleported, then that will just break the game. So let's fix this again. Carry this at the top. And carry this to the top. Let's lower the teleporter. Make sure not to lower it. And there you go. You got your teleporter. Now, let's do and make or summon a receiver. And then they activate because they're on the same channel alpha. So if I were to move the receiver, then it won't work. Make sure that if you try to edit nodes or teleporters, if you want to activate here the land vehicles, the other side must be activated also. Because if the other side is not the same, then it won't work. Also remember, test the teleporter first. For example, you are in forge mode, try to drop below and see where you spawn. Remember where you spawn? Behind. Which means this particular angle right there is where you come out. You exit. So we're going to take advantage of it and make the teleporter flip below. Using the coordinates, we will turn it to 90 degrees and then it will fit below. Also make sure, I don't really recommend putting the teleporter very close, such as right, kind of like in the spawn. The reason for this problem is when players stand on here, they will block the teleporter's usage. That means if other players fall down and someone is AFK right here, then they will not get teleported. Either they get stuck below and rage quit, or the map is broken because of some idiot that's in AFK mode. Now remember, how do you solve this problem? The best way to solve it is two things. Make it higher that people cannot reach it with their body, or the best way is either to put a shield. What I mean is a one-way shield. A one-way shield can be found in the same category. Gadgets. When you open gadgets, you will see one-way shield. There's 12 of them you can put. So you get this, and you will notice the barrier and the one-way. So if you enter in the one-way, it will push you, and the barrier will just bounce you. So take advantage of this, put it on the teleporter so that when you get, teleported, you won't interfere with the teleporter. That way it's safer. Or you can you can put blocks around it so people won't, try to get AFK right there. For example, if I fall, then this acts as a pusher for players. But it's too high, so let's just drop low. Let's try to lower it. And there we go. It's time for it to drop. See? It works out like a charm. Now let's do the jumps. You got it right there, right there, right there. And if you fall, then you just reset. That's how you do it. So let's proceed with the next step. Make your maps or jumps in general fun. Try to experiment in the build. For example, what makes a jump fun aside from just normal jumps? Like jump, 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 jump. There could be like precise jumps, which is much more difficult, or a jump that involves tech jumps, technique jumps. So what are the types of techniques jumps? I think the most commonly used technique jumps is spring jump. So what is a spring jump? Well, let's try to build something first. The first block, and put it right there. Notice that some jumps are too high and require crouch than a normal jump. I will try a normal jump right here. It won't work. What if I do a crouch jump? It won't work. So what is a spring jump? A spring jump is where you hold crouch and jump, hold crouch, jump again, so that there's like to activate a spring jump because you're holding crouch. And if you want to activate the spring jump, you have to jump and crouch at the same, and release crouch at the same time. Jump and release crouch at the same time. It doesn't work for sometimes, but to me it's very inconsistent, but sometimes it works. So yeah, that's why I don't really use it too much unless if it's necessary. Or if the map has it on difficult maps, then I will just use another technique that is also much easier for me, because you only have to position yourself and press double jump. So what do we call that? Alright, we will build another extension at the top. So there is another technique that people use, which is called under jump. You drop one leg on an edge, kind of like this, very edgy. So what I recommend to do is if you use this gun or a plasma pistol, and you aim down and right click, I recommend that your cursor, this, is centered in the line of the object, not the middle but the below it. I'll just edit it right there. Once it's centered, I think that's a perfect spot to do an under jump, because your leg, your 1 foot, is at the edge. And then you spam double jump, and there you go. Here is a normal jump. And here's a under jump. See? I'll try again. All you need to do is press double space or double jump. Or you can spam it if you want. It will still work. There's also an advanced versions. Moving springs is of course where you just do it like this. Hold and let go and jump. Well, moving under jumps or forward under jumps could be done on the same manner, but you need to move the button at the same time. For example, like this. So I'll try moving under jumps, which means I have to jump and move forward at the same time. Wait, doesn't work. That was embarrassing. Alright. There we go. See? You do it the same, like under jump, but this time you're moving at the same time. So you have to time it correctly. Jump and move. So this is a normal under jump. So if you apply movement, then of course your under jump will move. Like that. See? If I move, the basics. So yeah, these are for advanced techniques. So if you want to learn them, well, you can. So let's go back to the basics of parkour. What could be the methods used for fun? You could add late jumps, slides, save jumps to make it much more fun. There is a tutorial video of the basics of parkour. I will link it in below the description, so if you want to watch it, feel free to. Remember the steps that I told you? The step 1 again is how to make a forge world. The step 2 are the things that you needed in parkour map. Is of course we tackled the first one, which is the spawn area. Next is the jumps. The next are the teleporters and the checkpoints right here. So the next that I told you is the flow of the jump, which means the flow must be like very good. That will make players like, oh, the jump is very fun. So what could it be? It could be slides. It could be a jump that requires a bit of movement. It could be like, you use a bunch of techniques. So you will experiment whatever that is available in Forge. For example, what if I used the shield earlier? I will do it again like this. Remember that you can bounce it. What if you use that? Let's try it. And I'll bounce. See? You can use this to jump. So there's also another thing that I've used earlier. You hold crouch in mid-air, and when you land, you release that crouch and jump at the same time, then you will gain more height, like this. See? Let's try it. Copy paste. Let's try a normal jump. There you go. So what if we were to use a crouch jump or spring? You gain more height, land again, and see, there's a difference. So it depends on your taste on how you make it jumps. You could make it aesthetically beautiful or make it like a movement flow beginning. Remember the one-way shield technique? Let's apply it here. So if you were to have a wall, let's place a wall. A short wall, flip it, add it to the side. You add a jump right there so that you can reach it. And see if your method works. So this is just a testing. Remember the one-way shield where it pushes you? Notice that if you make it like angular, let's go with 30 degrees. If you make it too much angular, like this, and you put it on a wall, you will see that there's like a glow. So if you put it like that, alright, that's better. Let go. Transform to it. Jump. You gain more speed. You can use this as a technique. So let's copy paste it. And the jump is higher, so let's try it. Jump. And we failed. So let's position it correctly so that the jump is much more flower. The flow is better. So let's try again. And I failed. Let's make this closer. That's how you do parkour maps. You test and test and test and test to see if the jump works. Then when it works, then you can, if you complete the entire map, then you can host it so everyone could join. There we go. There we go. And see, you got yourself a map. You can apply this. You add a teleporter below so that if they fail, they'll be teleported again. So we can copy paste this. Copy paste. Make sure to change the channel to Bravo. And then add it to that section. But there's a problem because of the terrain. So let's just delete it. So you get what I mean. Now also, now that we are done with the flow of the map, the most important thing of a map is that it makes sure that it isn't too long, but it isn't also too short. So that people could enjoy it like, oh, it's easy. Oh, it's very, difficult for noobs. That's the way I go with how to make maps. So yeah. But the most important thing in a parkour map is rewards. So what are the rewards? Unlike in other Halos, Halo Reach has a unique armor abilities, which you can use. And that one of them is jetpack. So if they reach a jetpack at the end, it's a reward for them because they can use the jetpack with the completed map. They can fly around, explore, some secrets that the creator has hidden. So you can do that. So example, we'll place this type of block, put it right there. Place some blocks such as these that they can, climb. This is just basic map, so you can feel free to ignore it. And then we will place like a cannon. Let's go with heavy. Place it right there. Then you will come here, add a block. Make sure that this block is not reachable by players, because if they do, then they'll just cheat. Make sure to block it at all costs. And then let's add the rewards, armor abilities, jetpacks, and then you can edit them where they spawn. If someone got them and then leave the game, they will respawn. Do not use fix. Remember, there's a problem in Halo Reach because one time I used fix on these and place them on a corner. You can't pick them. I think it's a glitch. So I recommend using normal only. So when you use normal, just put them below, copy paste again and again. Like, oh crap. Like 4 of them, since there are 4 of those. So let's try to do the map and try to complete it. Alright? You jump, 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 and then the last bit difficult jump. Let's try this jump. There you go. Let's go. Oh, that's a bit higher. Let's use under jump. And then we will reach the end. The question is, oh, we can reach it. Nice. Oh, I died. Never mind. Also, this is the most important thing. Because when you host a map in parkour, you need game modes. Now, I will teach that in the last in this tutorial, of course. So, I land here, right? Remember? Make sure to cover it so that they won't, go too far. Now, this is the problem with Forge, is that you will die most of the time. So you're wondering, if I host a map, what if players die? There is a technique to that, which is why it's called game modes. Now I got a jetpack, I can just jetpack. And you remember there's a limitation right there? If you have a game mode for it, noisy cars, if you have a game mode for it, then you can set it to infinite, which means unlimited. Alright, so now you completed a map, why don't we try hosting this map? Wait, before we do it, of course, I think we should just make this as wide as possible to cover the whole map. Oh crap, make sure to don't do that. Oh my goodness. So after everything that we've built, this is as basic as possible. So you can apply this to the entirety of the map. Now, there are teleporters, the steps that I provide you, the spawn area, the jumps, the teleporters again, the flow, and the rewards. Now, here is your parkour, basic parkour map. So, let's try jumping. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I hope you enjoyed the guide. But before we left, there is still one more part that you needed to do. Save the map. And during the making, please save it as much as possible if you have big projects ahead of you, because sometimes there are problems, power interruptions, and we don't want that, because once that happens, your map won't be saved. So let's try to save it. Name the map trial map. Then you will place the description. What could be a description? Tickle's trial map. And there we go, we save it. Now you can save it again when you are building something. Don't use it again unless you want to rename it. So there we go. Now let's try, before we leave, of course, I forgot to add something. There is something called, I don't know, camera in the game. So how do you go to spawning and initial loadout camera. Initial loadout camera works when people join a server or hosted lobby, and then they will see the first view of your map if you position your camera well enough. So if you have a good aesthetic map, then I recommend you do that. So kind of like this, place it right there, and then you got your map. Save it again, and there we go. Now let's try to restart the round. And it doesn't work because, like, again, it has to be in a lobby. So The next step is, of course, we will have to quit the game since you already saved your map. Now, how do you make a parkour game mode? Well, let's quit. In order to make a parkour game mode, you have to go to multiplayer, then custom multiplayer, and Halo Reach. After you go here, I think the best way to do it is maybe go to your map, the one that I made. Wait, let me find it. Trial map, there we go. Then you will have to click this. This Slayer. Once you click Slayer right here, you can edit it. Once you go to the edit, here are the things that you need to do in your map. Make sure that you are not gonna die against other players. You won't receive fall damage. You also won't receive, you have also damage maximum on your pistols, your punch, or whatever. So those things apply. And lastly, yeah, their weapons loadouts must be weapons that are in parkour, such as plasma and magnum. It can depend whatever you want, just don't make it chaotic, okay? So let's go with general settings. Then you will have this number of rounds. Just pick number 10, and the time limit is the most important. Pick in unlimited, no limit. Is there sudden hit? Disable. Player traits. Now, for player traits, you should make it invulnerable. That's it. Just invulnerable. Back again, and let's go to weapons and damage. Make sure that their damage is as high as possible, or 200, 300. That's it. Then you go back. Let's check again. Make sure to disable this. And also to disable this. They are invulnerable, but I guess I just disable it because why not? Next is the movement. Don't touch this. I think don't touch it. So let's check again. Damage modifier, primary weapon, just ignore all this. Appearance, just ignore it. The most important thing we move on is the Spartan loadouts. There are two of them, Elite and Spartan. So let's go with Spartans. Just click tier 1 and loadout alpha. You can rename it whatever you want, so let's rename it to Stalker. Primary weapon, plasma pistol or magnum. Let's find that. Magnum, there we go. Plasma pistol. There we go. You should remove armor abilities because, again, as I said, the rewards are at the end of your map, which is the jetpack. So let's just remove it. None. Grenades should be none. No grenades. Hide loadout. Don't hide it. Just not hidden. But the rest should be hidden. Remember, hide all of them. Hidden. 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 There we go. Then go back. I think the same could be applied to this. Yep. So don't touch everything. Just touch tier 1. So now we are done with the Spartans. Let's go with the Elites. Tier 1 the same. Let's pick Stalker. Let's go with Guard. Primary weapon should be the same as the from earlier. Let's go with Plasma Pistol, Magnum. And then remove none, not hidden. Then the rest should be hidden, 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 and lastly, hidden. Now let's go back. You got respawn settings. Make sure to set it to whatever you want, but I recommend 3. Suicide should be none. Betrayal penalty, I think, yeah, it depends on you. So you got it right there. Just go back. For the friendly fire, it should be disabled. Respawn settings, again, just like what I said. And betrayal booting should be whatever you desire. So I guess that's it. Team trading and everything. So you've done it. For the leader traits, I don't know, just don't touch it. So then you'll just accept options. Once you accept it, go back. Then you will click File Options and Save As. Rename it to whatever you desire of your game mode. For example, parkour, and there you go. Tests, and there we go. And lastly, on the parkour edits, go to general settings. I think player traits, weapons, and infinite ammo, or activate it to bottomless clip. Remember that. Remember this, bottomless clip. And in here, in the weapons and damage, pick unlimited, because I forgot to activate it earlier. So let's try again. And accept options. Go back and save the file. Alright, let's try. So how do we check the file? Simple. Go to custom multiplayer, reach, and then go check your map. Trial map. Now you have to use the Slayer that you edited. So let's go with here. You get a bunch of Slayers that's available, and you got my own Slayers, Boogaloo's, Tickle's Parkour, Speed Parkour, and the Parkour. So let's use this and just start the map that I made. Alright, we are now in the game, and let's see if everything works fine. You got unlimited ammo, unlimited bullets, and it seems that you won't be taking any damage aside from drowning in the water, because everyone will just die when they drown. You're not protected by plot armor. And there we go, we got the jetpack, and it's infinite compared to before. Now, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and you can host it on your map. So now, your question is, how do you host it? Well, exit the game as usual. You will be the host when you host it. Go to multiplayer, go to custom game browser, go to create, go to Halo Reach, and multiplayer. This right here is where you can edit. So, you can edit, just click right here. Click the maps that you have made in Forge, and go right there to the trial map. Click that. There's also other maps that I have made, so you can see. Continue, Slayer, and pick the parkour that you just made. Parkour. See, there's no much difference with the other game modes. So pick parkour, continue. You can pick whatever you want, just casual. Name whatever you want, just okay. And then you can rename this to whatever the session name, this description, and then you can create match. If you create it, just wait for players to find and join, because they will just join it randomly. So once you are in game, you will be thrown in a pre-game. So what is a pre-game? Let's try. That takes a while.
Custom.
Now you are in a pre-game. You will have a bunch of variety of things such as these. This is normal because you're the only one in it. Alright, I guess that's all, but no one's joining. I don't have any friends to play this game, so that's sad. In real life, of course. Okay, so yeah, I think that's how you do it. Just wait for someone to join, and when they join, everything will just be just like your game mode does, because it's pre-game. It will wait for whatever how many players you want it to be that will activate the match. If you just set it to two, which means you and the player, well, it will activate. I guess that's all. I'm very tired. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.